Welcome to the Street Smarts of Creativity. 4 breakthroughs in 60 minutes. I'm going to start this with a pretty bold promise. In just 60 minutes, I'm going to give you not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 solutions to 4 major problems you probably encounter on a regular basis in your creative work. And these are pretty powerful tools, by the way. This is not just some pretty theory. These are actual practical tools that you can absolutely use starting today to transform the way you feel when you work, to get rid of frustration, and to boost up the actual quality of your work. So this is going to be pretty intensive. So buckle up and concentrate. I guarantee that it will be worth it. Problem number 1. Have you ever been in this situation? You're trying to come up with an idea for something you have to do, and you just go blank. You stare at your word processor or canvas or music sheet or whatever, and you just can't come up with anything. Did that happen to you? Well, by the time we finish here, I guarantee, this will never happen to you again. Ever. Which I think is a pretty awesome thing to get in just 1 hour, but that is just the first out of 4. So problem number 2. Do you ever find yourself in this situation where after a certain point it seems that the more you work on the thing, the worse it gets? This graph shows it visually. All goes well, but at some point you see the more time you invest, the lesser the quality. But what if you want to get up here? How do you do that if more time means less quality? Well, after listening to this lecture, you'll have the secret of how to work in a constant up curve. The more time you put in, the better it gets. So, quality is going to really be just a matter of how much time you invest. Problem number 3. This is kind of a subtle idea, but I think you'll get what I mean. And even though it's subtle, it really makes a huge difference. The problem is that on one hand, we want control. We want to be able to plan our work. We want to meet deadlines. We also want clarity and structure and that kind of appealing simplicity. On the other hand, however, we don't want control. We want chaos. We want surprises. We want that funky little details and happy accidents. The kind of stuff you associate with the word creative, right? So it almost looks like we want 2 completely opposite things in our work. So how can we achieve that? How do we get something that's both chaotic and structured? Well, you'll discover that as well within the hour. And finally, problem number 4. You know that annoying little voice in your head that's giving you a hard time when you're working? Perhaps it sounds like one of your parents, or maybe the most strict teacher you ever had, or maybe like your boss. I'm talking about this voice that keeps saying in your ears, "No, wrong. You made a stupid mistake here." And this guy can get you completely miserable. And I know what I'm talking about because I personally had a very loud one shouting at me for years. So if you know what I'm talking about, if you have that voice too in your head making you miserable, don't worry, because by the end of this lecture, you'll have pretty specific instructions on how to get this guy to shut up.